is going on, everyone? We are back with another horror reaction. People will be like, Jesus Christ, you guys recorded 4 videos in a row wearing the same shit. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
We record all these back to back.
So He's depraved. I'm Hellcat.
I have stuff to edit. I'm depraved. She's Hellcat. Together we are
Hella depraved.
Horror.
So, In Search of Darkness, 1981.
We're in the 1981s.
Yes.
The 1981s. And the first movie that was brought up in 1981 is Scanners. And it is yet another... It's like 4 straight movies we haven't seen.
Right.
Until we watch them.
Right.
And I don't regret watching any of them. I wish some of them were better. But
right.
I love going on this adventure of checking out 80s horror.
Would I have regretted? I don't know if I'd regret it. Will I ever watch a couple of them again?
No. Scanners, though. Scanners is a gem, let me tell you.
It's definitely the product of the, fear of the government and loss of personal identity that, Stephen King wrote about in Firestarter and, genetic testing, and I think was probably, based on reports of, the CIA trying to produce psychics for its, undercover work, stuff like that. Definitely, rings with that kind of mentality in it.
Right. Go ahead and hit him with the plot, baby.
So, it's basically a private military company that is going after scanners, which are described as kind of telekinesis, psychokinesis, telepathy type people.
They're a bunch of carries.
More so, because they are actually the scanner part, they can hear all these thoughts. So what the military company offers is a drug that quiets the thoughts of all these different people all the time so that they can focus, in return for them working for the privatized military. And one of the scanners leads a revolt, assassination, basically. And they lose all of the scanners that are on their...
Played by Michael Ironside, by the way.
Yes. They lose all the scanners on their side, and so they go after this one that they know is not affiliated with the rest of them. In fact, had no idea that the rest of them even existed. Train him up and send him in to kind of go undercover and try and root out this elite scanner that turned everybody against them.
Right.
That is the premise.
And then to move things a little forward, story-wise, had one of the better plot twists we've had so far. That you know for a fact very early on that it's happening, but they don't prove it to your knowing the fact that it's happening until towards the end. And that's that you find out that Michael Ironside's character is actually working.
Yeah.
Well, I won't say he's working with the secret government is working with him. Because he's trying to get...
charge.
You find out what it is it's this medicine that they've been giving out to people.
To calm all those extra...
To calm all the
voices.
Voices is also what's giving newborn people... Fetuses.
If you give it to pregnant women...
They give birth to scanners.
Right. That's how scanners are produced. Which I think goes back to... there was a... what was it? Famotidine? There was some drug that was given out around this time to pregnant women that ended up with a whole bunch of birth defects.
Right.
But it was one of those that was really pushed by doctors because they were getting payoffs. And this is kind of the same. You find out a whole bunch of doctors are taking money to prescribe this same drug to pregnant women. And, in fact, one of the other main characters gets scanned by... a fetus.
She's a scanner herself.
Yeah. She gets scanned by this pregnant woman's baby. Not born yet baby. And so obviously that's dangerous.
They have a really cool moment too where apparently scanners are even allowed to scan computers.
Well, it was a hypothesis by the doctor that is
Which was pretty cool.
supposed to be like the head expert on both the drug that is being provided and scanners. And he hypothesizes that since a computer is a nervous system, that it can be manipulated as such. Which is interesting because it seems like maybe that's a hypothesis he hadn't shared with any of the other scanners that were on the payroll. He only shares that with the one that he enlists to go undercover.
And this guy does go undercover. Like he gets into this computer system. The guy, the one of the bad cop guys that was actually the one that killed the therapist that was helping, or the doctor that was helping.
The doctor.
The main guy.
You mean the director of security, the new director of security
yeah,
for the private military company that is the mole for the head scanner that they're trying to take down. Yeah.
But he tries to basically shut down everything, basically destroying everything, thinking it was going to also stop the good guy scanner.
Well, he thought that he wanted to hurt him, is what he said. I want to hurt him. And he thought that by blowing up all of their files, it would, I don't know, blow up part of his brain. I mean, it obviously smarted a bit, but...
Well, he got out before it did any real damage. And I think that's what we were seeing, was it was like backtracking.
Yeah, he blew up all their computer systems and, like, ends up killing that director of security with the computer that fell on him, which, by the way, is hilarious.
Right.
Karma. Instant.
And then, I am not going to lie, if I look at the list of movies that we've watched, I will say, of all the movies, even though I'm not going to give this movie a perfect rating, heads up, I will say, in my opinion, this has the best ending to any of the movies we've seen so far this year.
It has one of the best. I don't know. Like, this is a good...
This had an ending that even as it was happening, I wasn't able to predict the outcome.
See, here's the thing. So I 100% knew that the new director of security was the mole.
Right.
Immediately. And we discussed that before it was... I also knew that the Dr. Ruth, that the two scanners, the bad scanner and the one he enlists later, I was like, they're going to be his kids. I also knew that he was not a good guy.
Right.
Now, was he an uber bad guy?
No,
but he basically had the same moral grayness as his bad guy son, in that when he produced this drug originally, he fed it to his wife, his pregnant wife, before it was even FDA approved to be on the market, and had scanner son number 1, which is the evil one. And then did it again 4 years later and had scanner son number 2, which is the good son. And on top of it, neither of the kids could remember their early lives, their mother, father. Like, he basically drugged them and, like, let them devolve into insanity with overhearing voices and everything until he needed them. And then he gave them the drug that helped them be clear and told them what their powers were, and, you know, then used them the way he needed. So was he a good guy? No. But I also knew that was going to happen.
But the twist, the super twist ending at the very end
was, I did not see it coming.
Was mind-blowing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even more so than them actually blowing the dude's mind in the beginning.
Right.
Which is another great headsplosion.
Headsplosion.
By the way, that's an 80s thing, apparently.
It was great. I'm here for it. I'm absolutely... So we see, Savini, and then we see this. I'm here for this.
And the way they did the headsplosion in the beginning of this, I was reading, apparently they packed a gun full of, like, livers and put it to the back of this fake head that already had a bunch of gunk and stuff in it as well.
Woohoo!
And they shot the gun, which exploded the head forward.
Okay.
And...
So we had, like, you know...
It was really done well.
That's great. That's great.
Anyways, so the very end,
confetti.
Michael Ironside's character and the good guy, we'll call him Cameron, because I think that's him, isn't it?
It is Cameron. Yeah.
Cameron.
Cameron Vale is the good guy.
Right. And Cameron, so basically, Cameron and Daryl are going at it mentally.
Big brother, younger brother.
And it's causing, like, veins to start popping up in their arms and the side of their face.
Like, what looks like bursting boils.
Blood spewing as it happens. And then, all of a sudden, you see Cameron's character catch on fire.
But he's, like, holding it.
But he's like...
I think he set himself on fire.
Yeah, he's, like, holding it. And for a second, I'm like... Her and I were both like, is he giving up?
Right.
He's even smiling as it happens.
Right, so both of us were like, he's sacrificing himself for some reason. Like, we knew that that's what he was doing, but we're like, okay, how does this help him beat his older brother? Like, is he planning on burning the whole place down? And that's what's gonna...
And then when this happens, you pan over and it shows Daryl standing there. He's got all white eyes at this point, head's fully veined, he's screaming.
Right.
And then it fades.
Then it fades out, and then you go to Cameron's, not girlfriend at that point, but like the other scanner girl that he has found, and she is just waking up from the drug, and she walks into the room where the brothers were fighting and finds
a charred body.
Totally charred body.
And all of a sudden, you hear Michael Ironside's...
You hear Cameron Vale's voice.
Or you hear Cameron's voice say...
over here, Cam.
Over here, we did it.
We won.
We won. And then he pulls off the thing, and it's Michael Ironside.
It's his older brother. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and it all of a sudden clicks, and I'm like, he switched minds.
Well, it clicks because, okay, so his older brother has had this scar in the middle of his forehead the entire movie. It's gone. His eyes are no longer green or whatever. They're blue of Cameron's eyes. Like, there's little things that tell you that the younger brother, the good brother, overtook his older brother, the bad brother's, like, body. And then, I guess, ousted him into his burning body or something. It was, which is why I say that I don't think that the doctor, their father, revealed that trick for the computers about the nervous system to the older brother, because that's the same trick he would have had to have used. So obviously the younger brother was smarter.
Right.
He played smarter, not harder.
And it happened, and my jaw dropped.
Right. I mean, like, were we satisfied with the ending? Yes and no, because, like, the younger brother died, we thought. And we're like, like, it was a good-ish movie, and then that happened, we're like, and A+.
If you're able to blow my mind, figuratively,
right,
the way that you do, or that did,
right. Both of us are way too good at coming up with, like we know what's going on immediately in terms of these kind of twists. That one, if you're able to do that, yeah, exactly.
We predicted nothing at the end of this movie, or the way the movie was going to end, other than she did. I didn't, but she did predict they were going to end up being brothers about halfway through.
Yeah.
But we're sitting.
We predicted most of it until the very end, where we're like.
I looked at her and I said, "That is the perfect slow burn twist reveal."
Right.
It could not have been done because the movie as a whole was slow enough, but still intriguing enough to keep you interested. It wasn't great. It wasn't mind-altering, blowing, anything like that. Like, you see the dude's head explode in the very beginning, so they start off with a bang.
Literally.
And then...
Honestly, yeah, there were some good kills throughout
the movie kind of drags you along a little bit, but at least keeps your interest while doing so. And you kind of almost get this moment where it's like the main guy, everybody he keeps going to keeps dying.
Right.
And everyone just dies around him.
Yeah.
And
he's being hunted, or I mean, honestly, there is just that enough intrigue and stuff that you're like, okay, this is I'm not sleeping, and I'm not bored, but like, and then at the end you're just like, wow, I'm so satisfied. Yeah, that was worth all 103 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Acting was fucking fantastic.
It was phenomenal. Yeah.
I have literally no complaints with any of the acting.
No, all of the
whatsoever.
actors played their roles so well.
The only actor I was not thrilled with his role, which it didn't matter because he's a minor character anyways, as my mask is running away from me.
Right.
It was one of the guys that Cameron goes in to kill. Or he goes in to get information from. It's the dude that's sitting in the artist that's sitting in his
Benjamin?
loft. I wasn't a big fan of the way he was acting, but it wasn't, like I said, terrible, and it also honestly didn't matter much anyways because he's very much a minor step over character.
He was supposed to have been in a psychiatric ward. Like, I liked it. I thought that was fine, but honestly, overall, yeah, the acting was incredible.
And I will tell you what. Special effects wise?
Yeah.
Alright, well, before we get to special effects, I wanted to shout out all the actors real quick because we usually do that and we haven't done that. You've got Jennifer O'Neill, who plays Kim Obrist.
Which is the good female scanner.
Yes. Who you think is a bad female scanner at first. So that was a nice little...
But I also knew, I already told you, like, I called that one. I was like, there's a good group, and yeah.
Stephen Lack is Cameron Vale, who nailed it. Patrick McGoohan as Dr. Paul Ruth, who actually did a really good job in that role.
Which is the daddy.
Right.
Yeah.
Lawrence Dane as Brendan Keller. Michael Ironside as Daryl Revick. By the way, shout out to Michael Ironside. I spent the entire time watching it. You obviously know who Michael Ironside is, even by name. He's not one of those people that you just don't know who it is.
Yeah, he's not insignificant.
But what's funny to me is the one role I specifically remember him from is such a minor role.
Right.
And it's Major Payne. He plays the drunk dad that comes to try and take his son out of the thing.
Up, yeah.
And basically gets his ass handed. Well, he doesn't get beat up, but he gets pushed around by Major Payne in defense
bullied.
of...
He gets bullied, yeah.
Right. That's the one role I always will remember, but that's also my favorite comedy all time.
Right, it makes sense.
But he's been on a lot of fucking
But I
movies.
really liked him in this role because, so the clips that you see of him as a patient, he's Looney Tunes. But in a villainous, like a good, like, maybe Heath Ledger Joker way. And then once he's on the drug and everything, he is crisp and clear, but obviously has those incredibly grade morals.
Right.
So, yeah, just well done.
And special effects, again, very top-notch special effects.
Yeah.
The head explosion obviously was done very well. It's the one thing you always see shown in any of these documentaries.
But there's also there's
the fight at the end.
There's shootings. There's fights.
The way they get the veins to bubble up in the arms and
but
stuff.
But not to the point that you're thinking of like The Howling.
Right.
Like you're not getting overdone.
Right.
Balloon techniques. Yeah.
And then they start, spurting the blood out, and the way
so well done.
So good.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only thing that holds this movie down for me in any way, shape, or form is the long period in between the beginning and the end of just...
You mean the movie?
Yeah. That's it. Movie.
Okay. All right.
Not in a terrible way, but it does have... Again, it's a very slow burn type of film, and those will never rank high for me. The movie.
Between the beginning and the end, yeah. That was good. That was great. Hi, Gil. Your daddy's lost it. That's amazing. I get what you're trying to say.
But basically what I'm saying is, for my ranking, I'm giving it 3.5 head explode emojis out of 5.
All right.
Mind blown emojis. The one where he's like, ooh, and it's got
I
the...
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 4. Let's see. I'll go with the mind explosion too.
Are you going to go with the mind explode emojis?
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I think this was well done, and I did follow the plot. I think a little bit more.
I followed the
In
plot.
terms of in terms of it not being dull-ish. Slow, yes. I will agree with that, and I will agree with it having a definite, like, I would say almost 70s flair to it in terms of, like, the conspiracy theory, the way that things were moving, everything. So I get why it was... That's why I said, at the end, before that little twist, I was like, was it a bad movie? No. Am I fully satisfied? No. Right. But was it... worth my time? Yes. And then the end happened and I was like, oh yes. Yeah. So I will give this a 4.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I don't know why we do movie reviews if it's the movie that's the problem.
Apparently I'm the problem.
Especially when you give the movie 3.5 and it was the movie that was the problem. I mean, like, that's a good problem movie.
That's not a bad thing.
Maybe we should have just started with the head explosion scene and ended with the twist ending. We could have just gone that way. Could have been a 15-minute movie.
We'd have been so confused.
We really would have been. We would have been like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Special effects are amazing, but what
people like this shit?
Right. I mean, we have said that for several other movies at this point, so I suppose it's nothing new.
All right. With that being said, now that I'm in
This is why we don't quit our day jobs, y'all.
Exactly. That, and there's only like 3 of you that watch this shit anyway, so hopefully someday somebody's going to come back along and watch these
like
reviews.
Eli Roth is going to watch it and be like, what
the fuck is wrong with these people? Anyways.
It's going to be featured on one of Joe Bob's, like, he's going to be like,
and look at these idiots over here thinking they know movies.
We love you. We just don't agree. That's all.
Anyways, that's going to do it. We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.